At KeyVantage, we've helped over 10,000 athletes deal with muscle pulls over the past several years. In this presentation, we'll look at what happens during a pull and what the body needs to recover quickly. There are two kinds of pulls: compression tears, which come from impact, such as a helmet striking a thigh or a muscle hitting the ground, and distraction ruptures, which come from excessive strain. For example, in trying to accelerate, you apply a lot of force to the calf muscle, it can't take it, and it rips. Sometimes a distraction rupture might be from some subtle motion, catching your balance for example, that asks a weaker muscle to suddenly contract, and you get a pull. In normal muscle function, motion is caused by contraction. The muscle shortens and pulls on the bone. In this case, the bicep contracts and lifts the arm. Look inside. We have a muscle pulling on a tendon, which in turn is connected to the bone. If a muscle contracts against resistance, and that resistance is too great, the muscle fibers will tear. These tears often occur at the muscle-tendon juncture, but they can also happen in the belly of the muscle. They can happen because the muscle is cold or not yet elastic, because it is overtired, or just overstressed. A magnified view of the muscle fibers shows that they are all bundled together and aligned in the same direction. Each muscle fiber can contract. During exertion, lots of muscle fibers are told to contract at once. Muscle fibers contain a lot of capillaries, and blood flow in muscles is high, especially during exercise. Muscles need oxygen and glucose to produce energy for motion, and in the process they produce wastes, which for a fatigued muscle include CO2, lactate or lactic acid, and other byproducts. So let's say the conditions are right for a muscle pull. The weakest links in the muscle fibers will break. Perhaps some cells are still damaged from a previous injury that didn't heal thoroughly, or the muscle fibers are not strong or flexible enough. You end up with torn muscle fibers, torn blood vessels, and very quickly blood and cellular waste pools in the area, spilling into interstitial tissue. This results in toxins that the body needs to metabolize or clean up. From the outside, this spilled blood appears as a bruise. If you don't see a bruise, it often means that the spill is too deep, but it may be that the body has already metabolized the wastes. Back to the injury. The damaged area goes into spasm. This is a protective lockdown that contracts the muscle fibers to prevent them from being overstretched, which would cause further damage. Although this tension is initially protective, it inhibits recovery. As we discussed, the area will swell with fluids, and in addition to the pain from the muscle pull itself, this fluid pushes on pain receptors in the area, causing further discomfort. Shortly after the injury, scar tissue will begin to form. This tissue patches up the tear, forming a sort of web around the injury. On the upside, this immobilizes the tear. But scar tissue is not muscle tissue, and it doesn't form in line with the muscle. It is relatively inflexible, and it has a tendency to contract over time, which reduces circulation to the area and can produce a long-term knot. All of this increases the chances for repeat injury, so steps should be taken to limit scar tissue formation and break it down so that healthy muscle tissue can replace it. So here are the keys to an effective recovery that helps you avoid re-injury. 1. Relieve spasm and internal swelling. In the first 48 hours after injury, you can reduce swelling with ice. However, ice will not relieve spasm. Improving circulation is important. Blood flow to and from the area will deliver oxygen and nutrients necessary for repair. Removing toxins is also essential. Any internal bruising that is not removed inhibits thorough recovery. Restore motion with exercises and stretches over time. These are simple, but they limit scar tissue formation and encourage the muscle to replace scar tissue with healthy muscle fibers. The KeyVantage approach to muscle pull recovery includes all these steps, with formulas and techniques to help relieve spasm and swelling, improve circulation, remove toxins, and promote the growth of healthy muscle tissue. The techniques are simple, take very little time, and help you get back into action quickly.